Om Gam Ganapate Namaha, Kaliyugada Kalpataru. The fifth delight, Shri Raghavendra Gurusarvabhauma. Chapter 47, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Venkatanatha had already spent 2 days fasting. The next day was Ekadashi, another day of fasting. That night he observed vigil. And on the morning of Dwadashi, he performed his daily worship. Saraswatamma stood nearby, her face weary and pale. Their son, Lakshmi Narayana, sat humbly in front of the house, hands folded, watching the worship. Since it is Dwadashi, the sacred day of Harivasara, Venkatanatha performed the ritual slowly and with deep devotion. As he chanted the mantras in a melodious and solemn tone, the Vedic recitations filled the air. Listening to them, both Saraswatamma and Lakshmi Narayana felt a deep sense of peace and tranquility in their hearts. After completing the Kalasa Puja, performing Abhisheka, and offering sandalwood paste and sacred rice to the deity, Venkatanatha finished the worship by offering tulsi leaves while reciting the Sahasranama. Finally, he sat down, his mind absorbed in devotion. Saraswatamma lowered her head and hesitantly murmured, "Swami, today too, we are unable to offer any food as Nevidya to the Lord." Venkatanatha sighed deeply and gently reassured her, "Why do you worry so much, Saraswati? I understand your distress. Have I not told you before? The Lord is satisfied even with a simple offering." Saraswatamma responded, "That is true, but at least that day you were able to offer milk. Today, even that is not there." Hearing this, Venkatanatha smiled faintly, despite the sorrow in his heart, and said, "Saras, what is Nevidya? Is it not an act of offering? As Sri Krishna himself has said, whatever is offered with devotion is pleasing to him." Saraswatamma, intrigued, asked, "What did the Lord say, Swami?" Venkatanatha recited, "Arjuna, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer in sacrifice, whatever you give in charity, and whatever austerities you perform, offer them all to me with devotion, free from selfish desires. That alone satisfies me." Then turning to his wife, he explained, "Let us offer these 5 types of sacrifices, Panchavidha Samarpana, as an act of devotion to Sri Hari. That itself will become Nevidya. Through such sincere surrender, the compassionate Lord will surely be pleased. Do you understand, Saraswati, the essence of this offering?" Saraswatamma, "Please explain further, Swami." Venkatanatha, "Listen, Saras, what I have done today, I have performed my daily ablutions, Sandhya Vandana, Vedic recitations, and worship of the Lord. All these righteous deeds, I now offer them to Sri Hari. The second offering is food. You may think that since we have been fasting for 3 days, we have not consumed anything. But do not worry. Even during fasting, we have sustained ourselves on air. We have performed Achamana during Sandhya prayers. The very act of breathing is like consuming food, and Achamana is akin to drinking water. Let us offer these 2 to Sri Hari. The third offering is sacrifice, that is Homa. Every day we perform Apasana, a sacred domestic ritual involving fire offering. Upasana. Besides that, my teachings and recitations of scriptures is also a form of Jnana Yagna, a sacrifice of knowledge. Let me dedicate that as well to Lord, saying, Sri Hari, let this be an offering to you. The fourth offering is charity, that is Dana. The little possessions we had in our home was taken by thieves, were they not? Even though we did not willingly give them away, since they belong to us, we can consider it as an act of charity. Let us surrender this too to Sri Hari. The fifth offering is penance, that is Tapasu. What is Tapas? It is nothing but singing the Lord's glories, reciting His praises, and meditating upon Him. We have engaged in all this today. Let us offer this too to the Supreme Lord. Thus, by dedicating these 5 acts as instructed by Bhagavan Himself, we have performed a complete Nevidya offering. So, why should we grieve? Hearing this, Saraswatamma, overwhelmed with devotion, folded her hands and said humbly, "I am ignorant. I spoke without understanding my husband's profound wisdom, devotion, and spiritual realization. I am a mere woman who blabbered in distress. Please forgive this humble servant's offense. Seeing her pure heart, unwavering faith, and deep sense of righteousness, Venkatanatha smiled gently. The heaviness in his heart disappeared, and his face brightened with joy. Filled with contentment, he affectionately called out, Saras. Venkatanatha, Saraswati, I understand your concern. We adults can endure fasting and hardships, but Lakshmi Narayana is just a child. How can he bear hunger and thirst? That is what worries you, isn't it? Do not fear. He who protects all will also take care of your son. Saraswati, we are husband and wife, and we have only one child. If we, despite our hardships, find it so difficult to endure, imagine the struggles of great devotees like Kuchela, that is Sudhama, and Devarsharma. Did they not endure poverty joyfully, accept it as the will of the Lord? The wise Sudama and Devarsharma stand as the living examples before us. So why worry? The Lord has declared, my devotees shall never perish. Our only duty is to surrender to Him with mind, body, and soul. All our senses must engage in His worship. Our very breath should be fulfilled with the presence of the Supreme. When we surrender with such devotion, Sri Hari bestows His grace upon us and uplifts us. Has not the Hari himself promised? Those who, abandoning all other deities, meditate on me with unwavering faith and serve me with steadfast devotion, I personally provide what they lack and preserve what they have. This is Sri Krishna's solemn declaration. The Supreme Lord, who protects all 14 worlds, will He not protect you, me and Lakshmi Narayana? Do not worry. The Lord Himself bears the responsibility of our well-being. Hearing her husband's divine wisdom, Saraswatama was filled with contentment. With a soft smile, she said, Swami, I am not worrying about Lakshmi Narayana. I only wanted to share with you a dream I had last night. Intrigued, Venkatanatha asked, A dream? Tell me, what did you see? Saraswatama, last night, as I kept vigil, while you recited scriptures and played the veena, I felt drowsy and drifted into sleep. In my dream, I was overwhelmed by our hardships. My heart weighted down with worry. Suddenly, multiple flashes of lightning illuminated the sky at once. Startled, I lifted my head, and in that instant, a brilliant radiance descended from the heavens and stood before me. The light was so intense that I had to close my eyes. Then, amidst the divine glow, I heard a gentle voice calling, My child Saraswati. Amazed, I opened my eyes. Ah, Swami, how do I describe what I saw? Standing before me, eluding divine radiance, clad in saffron robes, holding a danda, that is staff, and kamandalu, that is water vessel, was the revered Sri Vijayendra Tirtharu. His face bore a serene smile, and with his hand raised in blessings, he bestowed Abhaya, that is divine assurance. Overwhelmed with joy, I immediately rose and prostrated before him, exclaiming, Gurudeva, why have you remained indifferent to the plight of your humble disciples for so long? It has been many years since I had the fortune of your divine vision. Hearing this, the Venerable Guru smiled and said, My child, have I ever truly been absent? Have you not always been in my presence? Do you not witness my continued existence in my scriptures? Is it not my dear Venkatanatha's teaching and explaining my works? If my teachings are being recited and expounded upon, how can I not be present? I humbly replied, That is true, Gurudeva, but it has been years since I have seen your divine form. To this, the Guru responded, That is precisely why I have come now. The time has arrived for all of your hardships to be resolved. Do not worry any longer. Take your husband to my beloved disciple, Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu, for traditional studies and scriptural discourses. This will bring your divine fortune and prosperity. Saying this, he disappeared, and I awoke. I had been waiting to share this vision with you. Swami, I firmly believe that if we go to Guru Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu, all will be well. Shall we travel to Kumbakonam? Hearing his wife's words, Venkatanatha's face lit up with profound realization. Overcome with emotion, he exclaimed, Saraswati, do you know how long I have been waiting to hear these very words from your lips? Saraswatama, in surprise, you are waiting for my words? What do you mean, Swami? Venkatanatha, once Alakshmi, the goddess of misfortune, declared that she had taken refuge in our household. When I asked her, "When will you leave?" she replied, "The moment your wife urges you to go to the Guru's presence, I will no longer remain here. That long awaited moment has arrived today. Saraswati, you have given the right advice. Know that from this day our hardships have come to an end. Let us quickly depart for Kumbakonam. But first, let us complete our Tirtha Prasadam and offer the 5 types of actions to Lord Hari, as I mentioned before." Just as he finished speaking, there was a knock on the door. "Venkatanatha, see who has come, Saraswati." Saraswatama went outside and returned shortly. "Saraswatama, a well-dressed, wealthy-looking gentleman, has come to see you, Swami." Curious, Venkatanatha stepped out with his wife and found a middle-aged man standing with 2 attendants. They carried baskets filled with fruits and flowers, along with a large brass vessel brimming with fresh milk. As soon as the man saw Venkatanatha, he respectfully placed the offerings before him and bowed. "Stranger, Swami, I am a merchant named Shivakumara Swami. I have come to offer these gifts to you." Venkatanatha, in wonder, "An offering to me?" Shivakumara, "Yes, Swami, this is by the Lord's command." Venkatanatha, "I do not understand what do you mean?" Shivakumara, "Swami, I am a devout follower of Lord Srinivasa. I once prayed to him to bless me with orchards filled with fruits and flowers, and cows that provide abundant milk. By his grace, my wishes were fulfilled. But last night, the Lord appeared to me in a dream and said, 'Shivakumara, I have granted your desires. Will you not offer anything to me in gratitude?' I humbly replied, 'O Lord, everything I have belongs to you. What can I possibly offer you?' Then Srinivasa smiled and said, 'I need nothing, my child, but take your fruits, flowers, and milk and offer them to my great devotee, Pandit Venkatanatha. Seek his blessings, and you shall prosper.' With that, the Lord disappeared. I have long heard of your immense wisdom, devotion, and scholarly greatness. Today, by the Lord's command, I have brought these offerings and consider myself blessed to have your darshan." Hearing this, Venkatanatha's heart filled with gratitude and devotion, as the Lord Hari himself provided for his devotee at the right moment. Tears of divine joy flowed from Venkatanatha's eyes. Overcome with emotion, his body trembled, and in a voice choked with devotion he spoke, "Shivakumara Swami, you are truly blessed to have received the Lord's grace. May Shri Hari bestow prosperity and well-being upon you and your family." Shivakumara Swami bowed to the revered couple, expressed his gratitude. "I am blessed beyond measures." With that, he departed, his heart filled with divine fulfillment. All this while, Saraswatama had remained silent, deeply moved by the unfolding events. Now, unable to contain her joy, she exclaimed, "Ah, Swami, your words have come true. Did not Sri Krishna say, 'Yogakshemam Vahamyaham'? You assured me that our well-being was the Lord's responsibility and that we need not worry. Now, here is the undeniable proof." Venkatanatha, still immersed in the Lord's grace, responded, "Indeed, Saraswati, how merciful is Sri Hari. He even referred to an insignificant being like me as his great devotee when speaking to Shivakumara Swami. O Lord, who can truly comprehend your divine play?" Losing himself in devotion, he burst into a hymn of praise. "At one moment, you make me ride an elephant in grandeur. At another, you make me walk barefoot on the streets. At times, you feed me nectar like food. At others, you keep me fasting in hunger. O Lord, only you know the greatness of your ways. O Vishnu, who rests on the serpent. O Purandara Vitala." Saraswatama, filled with reverence, responded, "Swami, the Lord is an ocean of compassion. How can someone as insignificant as I ever begin to understand the boundless of his divine grace? Will I ever attain the unshakable faith you possess?" Venkatanatha smilingly replied, "Saraswati, even Goddess Lakshmi herself cannot fully grasp the boundless play of the Supreme Lord. So, what can we mortals understand? You lamented that there is nothing to offer as Nevidya to the Lord, but see how the compassionate Sri Hari himself inspired Shivakumara Swami to bring fruits, coconuts, milk, and betel leaves, not just for his offering, but also to provide food for us afterwards. Now, let us offer this back to him before partaking in his blessings." Saraswatama, overjoyed, prepared the Nevidya with devotion, arranging the fruits, coconuts, milk, and betel leaves, and placed them before the deity. Venkatanatha, with utmost reverence, offered them to Sri Hari, performed the Mangalarati, and bowed before the Lord. He then distributed the sacred tirtha to his wife and son. With deep gratitude and satisfaction, the family partook of the divine offerings, milk and fruits, relishing not just the food, but the boundless love and grace of the Lord, who had once again shown that he never forsakes his true devotees. That afternoon, as Venkatanatha and Saraswatamma sat in the porch conversing, they heard a familiar voice. Venkatanatha Acharya, are you well? Looking up, they saw Pandit Ramachandra Acharya entering. Filled with joy at this unexpected visit, the couple greeted him respectfully. Venkatanatha, this is indeed a rare and auspicious meeting. Are you doing well? Ramachandra Acharya, smiling, I was on my way to Madurai and thought of stopping by to see you. Guruji has sent you a message. Venkatanatha, what has Guruji instructed? Ramachandra Acharya, the revered Guru, Sri Sudhindra Tirtharu has expressed his wish to personally instruct you in the tradition of discourse and sacred teachings. He has invited you to Kumbakonam and has sent another scholar in your place here. He has also sent gifts along with a 2-year stipend of 2,000 varahas to support you. Saying this, he had handed over the money and gifts to Venkatanatha. He then blessed the couple and Lakshmi Narayana before setting off his journey to Madurai. After Ramachandra Acharya left, Venkatanatha turned to his wife with a smile. Venkatanatha, Saraswati, look at this. The financial support that had been stored for 2 years has now arrived on its own when we least expected it. When the Lord begins to provide with his own hands, even 2 hands will not be enough to receive his blessings. Saraswatamma, true Swami, the Lord's grace knows no bounds. The next morning, after completing his daily worship and Naivedya, Venkatanatha quickly finished his meal and prepared to leave for Kumbakonam. Sitting on a swing, he chewed betel leaves in contemplation when a man approached. Stranger, are you Venkatanatha Acharya? Venkatanatha, yes, I am. Stranger, Swami, my name is Govindaraja Chetty. I am a jeweler. I have heard much about you from Srinivasa Acharya and have been eager to meet you. Hearing this, Venkatanatha immediately realized the purpose of his visit. It seems Srinivasa Acharya had pawned our ornaments to him to borrow money, he thought. Venkatanatha, Chettiar, it is a pleasure to meet you. I assume you have come regarding the principal amount and the interest we owe you. I have just received 2,000 varahas. Please accept this, and I will arrange to settle any remaining dues as soon as possible. Saying this, he brought out the money pouch and handed it to Govindaraja Chetty, ready to fulfill his financial obligation without delay. Govindaraja Chetty, Swami, I have not come to collect money. I am leaving for Madurai with my family to expand my business. Before leaving, I wanted to return your pledged ornaments. Where can money go when it is meant for a great soul like you? You have repaid me. You could have repaid me slowly. It was enough if you had just given me the principal amount. Saying this, he checked a ledger from his bag and calculated. Only 1,850 varahas remained due, he informed. Taking the pouch from Venkatanatha, he carefully counted the amount, returned 150 varahas along with the gold ornaments, and respectfully took his leave. Saraswatama watched in amazement as event after event unfolded miraculously. Saraswatama, Swami, this feels like a dream. Every moment something unexpected happens, and I am left in awe. Venkatanatha smilingly said, the Lord's play is unfathomable. His love for his devotees is unparalleled. Saraswati, take these ornaments. First offer them to the Lord and then bring them back. Obediently, Saraswatama took the ornaments, performed the offering ritual, and returned. As she approached, Venkatanatha gazed at her. She wore a simple yet elegant sari, her hands adorned with glass bangles, and her forehead decorated with a bright red kumkum dot. Though she wore no elaborate ornaments, she radiated a natural beauty that captivated him. Venkatanatha, O Saras, how mesmerizing you look in your simplicity. You are like Shakuntala herself, descended to earth from Kalidasa's poetry, just as King Dushyanta beheld Shakuntala in the hermitage and exclaimed, so do I see you now. Hearing this unexpected poetic phrase from her husband, Saraswatama's cheek flushed red with shyness. Saraswatama, smiling timidly, Swami, it had been so many years since I heard such words from you. Where were your poetic sweetness, your tenderness, and your affectionate heart all this time? Venkatanatha teasing her playfully, said, "My dear, a bee does not sip nectar from a flower unless the bloom is at its full splendor." Blushing deeply, Saraswatama lowered her gaze and murmured, "You always have a way with words, Swami." Dressed in a simple panche and draped with a shawl, Venkatanatha bowed before the deity, his heart filled with gratitude. Saraswatama and Lakshmi Narayana followed suit, offering their prayers before joining him. Then, with a gentle smile, Venkatanatha took the golden ornaments and adored his wife with them. In return, Saraswatama placed bracelets, a tulsi mala, and earrings on her husband. She then lovingly decorated the son with jewelry, making him look princely. Venkatanatha, admiring his wife, remarked with delight, "Saraswati, today you look exactly like Goddess Lakshmi herself." Saraswatama laughingly replied, "And you, Swami, look like Lord Narayana." Hearing this, their son, Lakshmi Narayana, eagerly asked, "Appa, what about me?" Venkatanatha, with a twinkle in his eyes, responded, You look like just Brahma himself." Saraswatama, feeling playfully indignation, interjected, "What is it? You call my son Brahma? Does he have 4 faces?" Venkatanatha laughed. "Oh, so you are upset already? Fine then, he is Manmata, the god of love." Lakshmi Narayana, smiling mischievously, declared, "Appa, Amma, I am Lakshmi Narayana." Venkatanatha chuckled and said, "Indeed, my son, if I resemble Narayana and your mother looks like Lakshmi, then surely as our child, you are none other than Lakshmi Narayana himself." Everyone burst into laughter. The one desolate house, burdened with sorrows of poverty, now resonated with joy and warmth. The air, which had long been heavy with struggle, was now filled with love, happiness, and divine blessings. Outside, the village elders had arranged for decorated horse-drawn cart to escort Venkatanatha and his family to Kumbakonam. Just then, a group of farmers arrived. Bowing respectfully before him, Venkatanatha, how are you all?" Farmer, "Swami, by your grace, we are doing well. Last year's harvest failed, and we could not offer our pledged grains to you. But this year, with the Lord's blessing, our crops have flourished 4-fold. Upon hearing of your departure to Kumbakonam, we came to ask, where should we send our offerings of grains?" Venkatanatha, moved by their devotion, smiled warmly. "Kalimuthu, you are hard-working men with families. When farmers prosper, the whole land prospers. I want you to keep the grains for yourself this year. Let your children eat well and live happily. From next year onwards, if you wish, you may send the offerings to the Guru's monastery in Kumbakonam." Hearing this, the farmers, overwhelmed, fell at his feet. "Swami, you are no ordinary man. You are the living God of our land," they exclaimed. The assembled villagers witnessed his kindness and generosity, stood in awe of his noble heart. Before departing, Venkatanatha entrusted the protection of his home to a respected village elder. Then, with his wife and son beside him, he climbed into the cart. As the wheels began to turn, the entire village gathered to bid them farewell, their eyes filled with reverence and admiration. With heartfelt prayers and blessings, they watched as the cart rode away towards Kumbakonam, carrying not just a family, but the beginning of a divine journey that would transform the world. Hari Om. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.